guys, welcome back to another video. We have a brand new report here from Reuters, and it is a breaking report when it comes to the Xbox Activision Blizzard acquisition. Now, first of all, they're saying here that the EU decision is going to be expected on May 15th, and we'll go through the article, but they're expecting this deal to be passed. But first of all, take this with caution, as I think it was a very similar thing that happened with the CMA, where there was a lot of stuff coming out before the CMA decision saying that the CMA was going to pass the deal, and then we know what actually ended up happening. But now the decision is down to the EU and the FTC as the two major regulatory bodies that have to rule on whether they're going to approve this merger or not. And the EU is just around the corner. May 15th is next week. They have until May 22nd as their deadline. But here is what this article says. EU antitrust regulators are set to approve Microsoft's $69 billion acquisition of Activision next week, with May 15th as the likeliest date. People familiar with the matter have said. Now, again, in previous articles, they always have people familiar with the matter giving out this type of information. It says the European Commission's imminent clearance comes nearly 3 weeks after the UK Competition Authority blocked the deal, the biggest ever deal in gaming, over concerns it would hinder competition in cloud gaming. And as we know, the CMA came out and were basically like, cloud gaming is a nascent growing market, and we believe if we approve this deal, it will be anti-competitive to those smaller companies to be able to try and grow, or to any company trying to get into cloud gaming to try and grow and compete with Microsoft, because they already have a dominant position, and this will just bolster that dominant position. Kind of unsensical when you think about the fact that they offer 10-year deals to a bunch of smaller companies. We even saw companies like Boosteroid coming out and saying that they disagree with the CMA's decision and that they want this deal to go through, essentially, that it is going to actually help them grow. We even saw NVIDIA speaking out against it. So all of the participants in terms of the 10-year deals, the smaller companies, and were against this deal being blocked, which for obvious reasons, because they would be getting access to Call of Duty and to the Activision catalog, where now, at least in the UK, if this deal is officially blocked, if they lose the appeal and everything, these Boosteroid and Ubitus and Nware may not get access to these games. There's no guarantee that Activision is going to put these games into cloud gaming. They may just keep continuing with their current business model and continue to reduce the overall access of the game itself, whereas Microsoft was opening up access by giving it to more cloud gaming services. Now, it continues here and says the EU antitrust enforcer is expected to clear the acquisition after Microsoft agreed to licensing deals with cloud streaming rivals, including NVIDIA, Ukraine's Boosteroid, and Japan's Ubitus. Other people with direct knowledge of the matter told Reuters in March. It also has an agreement with Nintendo to bring Activision Call of Duty to its gaming platform should the acquisition go through. U.S. distributor Valve Corp, owner of the world's largest video game distribution platform, Steam, declined a contract saying it trusts Microsoft. The commission has a set deadline of May 22nd. So this article doesn't really tell us anything new. They're basing it off of information that we already know with the 10-year deals. We know Microsoft was offering a worldwide free license for Call of Duty, royalty-free, all of this type of stuff, just so that they would be able to prove to these regulatory bodies that they aren't getting this deal to reduce access to games like Call of Duty and to games like Activision. Their main goal for this entire deal is mobile gaming. That hasn't changed. Microsoft, they've said that they want to compete with Apple and Google on the mobile front, and this will help them get there, help them be able to make it their own store, their own mobile store, which I think is a great thing, because right now it really is only Apple and Google, and they have no competition. Microsoft, being a $1 trillion company, has that ability to jump in and push Apple and Google to do more, to be better, to give more value to their customers, which if this deal completely gets blocked, that isn't going to happen. So it'll be very interesting to see what the EU decision actually is, whether it does come on May 15th or May 22nd. But from this report here from Reuters, it is looking good. Again, be cautious about that, as it was looking good for the CMA as well. Now, hypothetically, let's say the EU does decide to approve this deal, and let's say FTC does decide to approve this deal. Where does that leave the CMA? What I think would potentially happen is you're going to have a lot of customers in the UK very, very upset, because Microsoft may just go ahead and pull out in terms of cloud gaming with Xbox Game Pass. I mean, they could stay in there. They could just reduce the access by taking out cloud gaming, not giving people that option to access these games while still having it available in other parts of the world. And I believe that would be a way that they could actually still operate in the UK with Xbox and everything, as we've seen analysts come out and say there are other avenues to get this deal approved and get this deal through in the UK. So I think that would be something crazy, especially if you're a UK citizen. You probably would be very pissed off at the government, at the regulatory body, the CMA, all the people who have had a hand in this decision. But if the EU does approve it, that will be less of a bargaining chip for the FTC, as we know, are probably ecstatic that the CMA blocked it, so that if they do go to court all the way August 2nd, this is all stuff that they can use to back up their claims as to why they sued Microsoft to block this merger. So next week will be big. And if it doesn't happen next week, by the latest the 22nd, we will know whether the EU decides to approve or block the Xbox Activision Blizzard merger. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.
Bye.